no new material, so I did like Jack Kerouac. I just sat down in the afternoon and 2 hours later, I didn't have a book, but I had a chapter in a book called Dust Particles, and this is pretty much exactly as I wrote it in those 2 hours. At the edge of the city. It is morning, and the invasive rays of an arrogant sun pry past the nicotine-stained, once cream-coloured curtain that barely covers the small window above my head, and dance playfully with dust particles that even in the stillness of morning never seem to settle. I lie on a small bed covered with a motley green blanket, unravelling at the edges, clasping my eyes tightly shut, trying to ease the throbbing across the bridge of my nose and temples. The end of last night was just a blur, and in the early hours of the morning, I found myself lying there, still fully dressed on this old green blanket, when I was woken by an argument in the room across the corridor. Two women screaming, screeching, yelling profanities at each other. My muddled, drunken, befuddled mind could not make out their names or what was being said, although at one point one was pulling the other's hair. It ended as abruptly as it began, when the landlord ordered one of them to leave immediately, the other to leave the following morning. I looked up at my window and cursed the moon and fell back to sleep. Asleep to end that night. That playful night that ended in a haze of partial memories that will never stay memories. And yet, it started so bright. People on the street moving from bar to bar, laughing, some smoking, some staggering. A group of young men leaning out a sidewalk window, glaring at young women walking past. It was a warm summer night. The street lamps reflected off the terracotta-coloured brick pavements, and the beer flowed freely. Music of all types, rock, jazz, some dance tunes, flowed out onto the pavement and into the moon-glowing night sky. People dancing, young couples, some older, boys with girls, boys with boys, girls with girls, all thriving in a frolic of beautiful exuberance, all dressed up, all dressed down for a dress. Businessmen with ties loosened, supping wine or imported beers with the press, even though the cheaper beer would get drunk just as quick. And as everyone knows, after a while they all taste the same anyway. But I bought the cheapest because all I wanted was to get drunk. Alone. Alone in the corner with only a friendly beer to keep me company. And my bear and I peered out through the large plate glass window onto the world. A world not recognisable to the one dream. A world full of people who no longer dream, who can no longer afford to dream, no longer allowed to dream. Groups of young men and women wearing hoodies, disenchanted, discarded, disenfranchised, walking with a strut in the ruts of the street, looked down upon by an older generation that say, there's none of that nowadays. Yet the punks and the hippies and kids of post-World War II strutted the same ruts, even with music always changing and adapting. All those young men and women of the 19th century who frequented coffee houses, the 18th century, the 70s, 60s, all the way back to early humans, all those disgruntled youth who left their homes and strutted to a different beat to the previous generation. Yet those cloud-coloured eyes blinking not looking at the peripheral beyond their own tunnel vision ideals, refusing to accept that the bad goes hand in hand with the good, and then every generation moves forward and backward to form new ideals and ideas. And as the moons glow were slowly covered over by the creeping clouds, I returned to my friend's care, and everyone's eyes returned to their inward glances. Cloudburst. And the rain fell straight down upon the terracotta-coloured brick pavements. Umbrellas and coats started out from behind parked cars as the puddles left up at trouser legs. Wild, stained dry in the bar, blue denims, brown corduroys, check shirts, plain shirts, some with stains, t-shirts, and an old bush shirt worn out the elbows lean over their bear, and sitting on a stool with a short black skirt and white blouse partially unbuttoned. Then the bar door opened, and the white blouse turned as a grey suit with rain spots on shoulders walked in, smelling of single malt whiskey and French cologne. The bush shirt with no elbows watched the short black skirt ride high as it swiveled on the bar stool. And while the rain pounded the corrugated iron roof, the French cologne sauntered over to the white blouse and ordered a glass of wine. And with the arms rested on the bar, leaned over the partially unbuttoned blouse. I looked back at my beer, then out the window at the passing grey faces with their mistaken belief, their grimace could keep out the rain. And as the rain fell upon soon, I looked past the grimaces at the puddles forming and water cascading down the road curves, and beyond the mist in the modern world of all its pleasures, and wondered why we now complain about the natural world, the rain. For it is more natural when the ways we live now, fabricated, made new or destroyed the old, made new to keep us from the natural, from the rain. Yet we are of nature, so should be reveling in the rain, letting it wet our hair and cleanse our skin. Rejoice in the rain that has watered for millennia upon millennia, millions of years. Ever since the earth cooled, the rivers and oceans formed, and became clouds again, and became rivers and oceans again. Why should we not stand out on the rain and feel the water of ages, the water of the beginning of time? Yet we sit inside drinking beer and shelter from it and grimace. And then the rain stopped, and we lost our connection to creation. The moon peeked through, and the wet terracotta brick pavement sparkled. The storefronts sparkled. The cars parked at the curbs sparkled. The bus stop benches sparkled. The eyes of young men leering at young women sparkled. The wine glass, the cigarette light on the next table, the silver pen hanging just above the top button on the white blouse. The world sparkled. Everything sparkled. 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 Everything sparkled except the eyes of an old man staggering out for the door. His eyes did not sparkle. They were dark and empty, burrowing back inside his head into a hollow of the deepest hollow of hollowness. A hollow void of light, a void so void that all history remained trapped. But as I looked into the voidness of his eyes, I sensed the presence of holiness, a bodhisattva, a saint in disguise, his mottled old overcoat and greased linen hair hiding his true identity. I wanted to worship him, bow at his feet. I wanted to experience his saintly history, a history that was once perhaps shared with a mother, wife, children, friends, but who have all since gone, banishing him to this void, to the sainthood, and the remainder of the night was swallowed by a saintly void. And now this morning, lying here, head throbbing, the world erupts. LA woman by the doors blast down the corridor, creaking floorboards as someone stops past my door on the way to the bathroom. The flush, the rhythm of unmaintained plumbing, a telephone ringing at the base of the stairs, closing doors, a loud laugh, a burp, a cough, a sneeze, and a tree outside my window which seems to attract every sparrow in the city burst into life with chirping, no regard for the state of self-inflicted ill health of those living, barely living inside these walls. This infestation of everything the world has rejected. The drunks, the prostitutes, the wannabe artists, the yet-to-be-discovered actors, the dropouts, the forgotten. And then, cursing loudly, the second woman from last night's skirmish stormed out, slamming the door shut, sending dust particles into a frenzy, and she was gone. I will never know her name.